Okay, picture this. It's the morning of October 19th, 2025. In broad daylight, one of the most famous, most protected cultural institutions in the entire world, the Louvre, gets robbed. And this wasn't some quiet, sneaky job. Nope, this was a brazen, Hollywood-style heist that was over and done in just 8 minutes. It's the kind of crime that just seems impossible. So let's break down how it all went down.
I mean, that's the big question, right? The Louvre is supposed to be a fortress. It's home to some of the most priceless artifacts on the planet, guarded by what we all thought was state-of-the-art security. So how on earth did a team of thieves just waltz in, breach its walls, and then just vanish with a priceless piece of French history? So first, let's really understand the target here. The Louvre isn't just any museum. It's a symbol of French culture, it's a national treasure chest, and it's supposed to be a completely impenetrable vault.
And inside that fortress, the thieves went straight for the heart, the Apollo Gallery. This is where the French crown jewels are kept. We're talking about items whose value isn't just about the money, it's woven deep into the nation's royal history.
Right. So the museum is open. It's bustling with tourists. And that's when the operation begins. This wasn't some clumsy smash and grab. This was a surgical strike, meticulously planned, and it all unfolded in plain sight. Just look at this timeline. The speed is absolutely incredible. At 8:30 in the morning, only a half hour after the museum opened, a truck pulls up. By 8:38, the thieves are gone, just melting away into the Paris streets. That precision is stunning. So, how'd they do it?
Well, their method was both audacious and, surprisingly simple. They were disguised as construction workers. They used a furniture delivery truck that had a mechanical lift, and they just raised it right up to a first-floor balcony that leads directly into the Apollo Gallery. Once they were up there, an industrial-grade cutter made really short work of the reinforced glass. 4 minutes, that is it. That's all the time they spent inside the gallery. They threatened the guards with their power tools, which of course caused a ton of panic and confusion. And while the staff was scrambling to evacuate tourists, the thieves were just systematically smashing display cases and grabbing their targets.
And the whole thing, from the moment that truck parked to them zipping away on waiting scooters, took a mere 8 minutes. They even tried to set their truck on fire to destroy evidence, but a really quick-thinking staff member actually managed to put it out.
So, the thieves were gone in a flash. But what they left behind was this gaping hole in French history. Once all the dust settled and the museum assessed the damage, it became crystal clear this wasn't just about money. This was about heritage.
And these are the specific pieces they took. We're talking about jewels that once belonged to Empress Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III, and Empress Marie-Louise, Napoleon Bonaparte's second wife. These aren't just accessories. They are completely irreplaceable artifacts from the 19th century, covered in thousands of diamonds, emeralds, and sapphires.
In their rush to get away, the thieves actually dropped one of the 9 items they stole, a 170-year-old diadem that belonged to Empress Eugenie. It was found on the street below, but it was badly damaged from them forcing it through that small hole they'd cut in the glass.
But this is where the whole thing becomes a genuine mystery. Because it's not just about what they took, it is about what they left behind. They stole these priceless historical pieces, but they completely ignored some of the most famous diamonds in the world, like the Regent diamond, which is worth over 51 million euros all by itself.
So that raises this huge question, right? If this was all about a quick payday, they failed, spectacularly. The fact that they were so deliberate suggests this wasn't random. Investigators think they were working off a specific shopping list, filling a custom order for some private collector who cares more about history than raw cash. Someone who wants something totally unique, untraceable, something you can never buy on the open market.
So how did the fortress just crumble so easily? Well, the investigation pretty quickly uncovered a series of really shocking and frankly embarrassing security failures that made this whole impossible heist entirely possible.
It turns out the world's most secure museum had some pretty significant gaps. In the wing they hit, 1 out of every 3 rooms had no CCTV coverage at all. The external cameras didn't even have a clear shot of the balcony the thieves used. But the biggest failure? It was the simplest one.
As French Senator Nathalie Galait pointed out, a local alarm right there on that specific balcony, designed for exactly this kind of scenario, was broken. An alarm did go off, yeah, but it was the museum's main system, and it only went off after the thieves were already inside. If that one balcony alarm had been working, security would have known instantly.
The fallout was, as you can imagine, immediate. The museum's director acknowledged the catastrophic security failure and handed in her resignation to the Ministry of Culture. That's a huge deal, and it shows you just how seriously this breach was taken. In the end, though, her resignation wasn't accepted.
So, with the jewels gone and the security failures out in the open, a massive hunt began. But as investigators raced against the clock, they were also dealing with the Louvre's pretty unfortunate history of high-profile thefts.
And when I say a massive hunt, I mean it. The French police threw everything they had at this case. Reports say that over 100 investigators were put on the job to hunt down these thieves and get those national treasures back. And they got a break. Investigators were meticulous. They collected over 150 DNA samples from the abandoned truck, from helmets, from gloves left behind. And on October 25th, they got a match. That led them to arrest 2 suspects. And get this, one of them already had a prior conviction for gold theft. It was a huge step forward, but the jewels are still missing.
And this really gives you some sobering context. The Louvre has been a target before. The Mona Lisa was famously stolen back in 1911, but it was recovered 2 years later. But King Charles X's sword, stolen in 1976, and a painting that was taken in 1998, they've never been found. History shows that once treasures like these disappear, getting them back is far from a sure thing.
Which brings us to today. The police have suspects, and the investigation is definitely ongoing. But those priceless pieces of France's royal past are still out there, somewhere. And the biggest question of all remains, will they ever be returned to their home in the Apollo Gallery?